It's definitely tricky being a female in the industry to be noticed for your art as opposed to anything else. That's just people's natural reaction. Obviously when you like we're talking about judging a book by its cover, when you see a girl, you automatically want to assume, especially a girl in pop music, that she's going to be kind of a puppet, or everyone writes her songs for her, or this and that, which isn't the case at all, especially nowadays. It can be frustrating, but I think it's just, you just got to do it. You just got to keep doing it, and whatever, like looks-wise or fashion-wise, for me that all came later. Like I was an awkward kid growing up. I was an awkward teenager. I always tried weird things on and wasn't like confident in my own skin, but my music came first and paved the way for that. So, I mean, if the world doesn't see that off the bat, generally like looking at you, they say, oh, I'm gonna respect her for her music first. That's really up to the viewer. But for me, I just make the music I want to make, and I'm so proud of it, and I have so much fun doing it, and hopefully people notice.
Guess I can only hope. Give me a second go. Don't let me go.
One of the easiest ways to get out of being marketed a certain way is having control of the way that your image is and having control of the way you are. I think if you have a sense of who you are and a sense of your image and a sense of your sound and just your persona, no one can change that, right? And so no one can just invent something for you, because if you don't have an idea, that someone will put something there. There's no room for anyone else's chance to change you. So luckily I've had the greatest team around me that hasn't let anything kind of slip me into that category. For the first little while, before I realized I wanted to make it a little heavier and I was getting influenced by some dubstep stuff, I was struggling to shed those expectations of making the same record over again, because it's actually really present. After you make the first record, suddenly you have fans that are expecting something. But what it really comes down to is they're getting the best of the artist that they're a fan of. Not that they're going to get the same old thing over again. And I think change is good in that way, you know. And I want to show people that there's always going to be something new coming. The first record was very polished and very perfect, and all the sounds were on time and in tune, and the vocals were knitted in there with that whole like tight electro vibe, and that's what I was really into at the time. Which is like this like very, very precise, pristine music.
All I see is you not feeling, and you're giving me nothing nice. I tried to do you right. Why'd you have to go and turn to ice?
No one was imposing a pop star image on me. I think that just goes back to that perceived image, where if you make pop music, suddenly people think that that was forced upon you. Am I not allowed to make pop music because I like pop music? Yeah. It's like as soon as you make your own music, you have to suddenly be indie or weird because to prove that you do your own music. But it's like, oh, I like pop, I'm in pop. Dressing in like little space outfits and everything, I was obsessed with that stuff. So it was what I wanted. I think some people, as soon as you get in there and you're a pop singer making pop music, people automatically assume that it's all made for you. Contrarily, it was all my idea. As I've evolved, my tastes have changed. I start gravitating towards like kind of gnarlier stuff with a bit of grit to it, like dubstep elements or like Crystal Castles or Mon Cup, where it's like kind of trashy electro pop, which is not pristine and perfect. So suddenly my tastes are changing, and having spent a couple of years on the road playing these old songs, which naturally gravitate to a heavier sound live, that all just kind of led to the next record being more like that, you know, more influenced by everything that's been happening over the past couple of years.
You are a cliffhanger ending. I'm the one that doesn't know anything. Like you make pie and a ring.
The funny thing about like with voice effects and like autotune, when I used that on the first record, it was like, oh, this is cool, you know, I like delay, I like reverb, I'm making some autotune, it just makes everything fit really well. And it was just before that sort of negative connotation came in where autotune was like, you can't sing, like this is so bad. And with this record, definitely just gravitated more towards a heavier sound that's going to translate well live and kind of a little grittier, because I naturally make like really pretty melodies. I love melody, so I brought Holy F in. I met Holy Fuck at a festival, because I was starting to get into those like heavier sounds. I'm like, oh, I wanted like, this is what I have to do for the new record, to gnarl it up a little bit. And it wasn't necessarily to be like, I'm gonna prove myself as a musician. It was just like, this is the music I like now. When I made the listening, that's what I liked then. Met Holy Fuck at a festival. We both played Reading and Leeds Festival last summer in the UK. We were on the same stage and they're awesome, and I knew them. They're from Toronto, great. I sat down with Holy Fuck the first day and we were like jamming. And out of that first jam session, which is like live off the floor, you can't go back and change it, it's like one take, that's it. Tracks for Siberia, the song, and the tracks for Everybody Breaks a Glass came out of that first jam session. I was seeing electro being made in a way that was new and cool. It felt like new territory, which is part of the reason that I named the record Siberia, because it felt like this is new land, you know. There are moments we were sitting there in the studio and we're just like, this is new, I've never heard this before, butterflies, this feels like totally new ground.